Hey, it's another episode of Just My Take podcast. This is Dex PC5. Hope you guys are having a lovely evening. After 20 fucking intro takes, I think we're finally ready to get this fucking show on the road. I gotta find some podcasters that can help me out in terms of audio and in terms of like intros and just figuring this shit out. Being a solo podcaster, learning on the road, sometimes it's a little tough to get the right intro started, but I'm gonna get it fixed. Anyway, I want to first start out by thanking everyone for the support that they've given me. I really appreciate it. You don't know how much it means to me to hear people give me feedback and tell me that they like the show. The best thing you guys could do is to spread the word. Tell your friends. If you really enjoy this show, tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it. I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. Bring some up-to-date current events on the news, sports, and entertainment. And also just try to, entertain people for an hour or two per week. That brings me to my next topic. I've been debating internally about whether I should do either 2 episodes a week or just have 1 week, like one episode like I'm doing right now. And if it's 2 hours, so be it. I don't know if today's episode is going to be 2 hours, but the reason why I bring this up is because by this time on Wednesday, I'm chomping at the bit to do a podcast. And sometimes it's a Monday, and I'm like, shit, I have so many things I want to talk about that I figure if I get out the way, maybe I have a better reaction to it. It's a much more entertaining podcast as opposed to maybe if I hold off on Wednesday. So I debate back and forth. But then again, I got to be honest with myself and be like, well, this is still a growing podcast. The viewership may not be there yet in order to justify 2 episodes per week. So I'm leaving it up to the people. I'm leaving it up to the fans. Would you prefer, hey, Dex, just do once a week? Doesn't matter how long it is. We're willing to listen to you. Or 2 episodes a week. And if I'm going to do 2 episodes, I'm thinking keeping Wednesdays and maybe doing a Monday episode. Just to kind of get a good split. Monday might be a little bit more sports heavy, cover the weekend, and then Wednesdays, whatever news we break out. So let me know about that. Let me know your opinion about that. Anyway, before we get into the shit today, you can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, DexPC5, D as in dog, E as in elephant, X as in xylophone, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, and the number 5. You can also find me on Instagram at the Just My Take podcast page. Follow that page, message me, give me a hello, tell me what you liked about my episode, what you didn't like about the episode. This show can only grow if I know what the people like and what they don't like. Actually, this past week, I've been getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people, and I've been appreciating it. And who knows, maybe the more feedback I get, I may have to do 2 episodes. I might have to do live YouTube episodes. We'll see. But for today, we got a lot of shit to get into. And let's get into our favorite controversial artist at the moment, Kanye West. So, Kanye, he was walking through the streets of Chicago on Twitter, talking shit about Drake, Nick Cannon, and this model named Tyson Beckford all over Kim Kardashian. What a surprise. Now, Kanye was mad because he thinks that these 3 celebrities, are talking about how they smashed Kim Kardashian, how they hooked up with Kim Kardashian, and how he wants them to keep his wife's name out their mouths. Here's the fucking issue I got with Kanye right now. Kanye's going back to Chicago trying to mend fences with the issues he has in Chi-Town. And he's trying to go after people. I know Nick Cannon has talked about Kim Kardashian before on the episode a while now. Some people think that the Drake song Kiki in My Feelings is about Kim Kardashian. Actually, that's Kanye thinking that. I don't think anyone else was even thought about Kim Kardashian that aspect. And then Tyson Beckford, I don't really know what it is. But so I'm going to really focus on Drake and Nick Cannon. So I understand Kanye's position in this, in that, if someone's talking shit about your wife, obviously, as a husband, as a man, you got to defend your wife's position. But Kanye has to really get over the fucking fact that other men have hooked up with Kim Kardashian before he married her. He has to get over that fact. Because let's be honest, the Kim Kardashian empire, that whole Kardashian empire, it really started off with let's go back to the past. So we all knew of the Kardashian family. Some of us knew because he was O.J. Simpson's friend and lawyer in that famous O.J. Simpson trial that happened. After that, the father passed away. We didn't really hear too much about the Kardashian family because they were just LA socialites, but they weren't nationally, like, no one was really following them. It wasn't until that porno with Ray J in which people started talking about Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian built the brand with the sisters and all that stuff. Kim Kardashian has the big ass and all that stuff. And the big booty movement started, and now it's still continuing to this day. But now Kanye is getting mad because everyone's saying how they hooked up with Kim Kardashian. See, Kanye, you gotta understand. I gotta believe that part of the reason you even went with Kim Kardashian is because of how she looked, and because of her name, and because of her brand. I think it was a power couple match, in my opinion. And then eventually they kind of fell in love with each other, and now they got each other's back. That's fine. It's Hollywood. That's fine. But Kanye has to get over the fact that, other dudes have hooked up with Kim Kardashian. I mean, it's her past. She can do whatever she wants. Kanye has to get over that shit. For me, Kanye, I just want you to make another fucking album, man. A real album. Not this seven song bullshit that you just passed down the other month. I want you to make a real album. I miss the College Dropout Kanye. You remember when Kanye did the College Dropout, that first album, how different it was from today? He just had that hunger. He just had that ambition. He really, this was a guy, when he first came out, I'm like, this guy's really going to change the rap game. And he has. Don't get me wrong, he has. But there's just something cool about Kanye back then that I really, really enjoyed. Nowadays, every time Kanye opens his mouth, he's just trying to sell something. I mean, I think it's old news, Kanye. I think you got to move on from it. Anyway, what else I want to get into? So let's get into this Kevin Hart versus Katt Williams beef that's happening right now. So recently, Katt Williams, for those who don't know, he did a lot of comedy circuits. He was essentially the pimp. And he talked about how pimping ain't easy and all that stuff. And this guy was supposed to get next. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Unfortunately, he had a run with drugs. And because of the drugs, it fucked up his Hollywood career. And, excuse me. So, Katt Williams the other day went on this Atlanta radio show and was talking trash about a lot of comedians. Talking trash about Lil Rel, Gerard Carmichael, but really honed in on Tiffany Haddish. And for those who don't know, Tiffany Haddish is on the come up. She is blowing up. She's all over Hollywood. She actually has another movie coming out with Kevin Hart, which is coming the end of this week, called Night School. Tiffany Haddish is just trying to, she's just trying to get the bag in Hollywood. She's just trying to do what she can in Hollywood, because we all know you're flaming Hollywood. It can only stay on fire for so long. So, and Tiffany Haddish, if you don't know about her story, she has a crazy story. This girl was homeless. She bounced from foster home to foster home. So she really had to claw her way to get to the position that she's in today. So my problem was when Katt Williams said all these things about Tiffany Haddish, saying, Tiffany Haddish is not funny. Tiffany Haddish, the only reason why she's mainstream is because white people like her, but black people don't really fuck with her and all that stuff. And she wouldn't be in the position she would be in today if she wasn't an attractive female. Pretty much just shooting down Tiffany Haddish and all the accomplishments that she's done so far. So the other day, Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish went on the Breakfast Club, which is in New York, with Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, and I think DJ Envy, if I'm getting it correct. And Kevin Hart, I think, for the first time that I've heard, really went after a comedian. Because Kevin Hart has been taking some shots for a while. There's been a lot of underrated comedians who have maybe been very popular in the black community circuit, but never really broke it to the next level of mainstream. Mike Epps, Ariel Spears, and Katt Williams. Even though I think a lot of people know of Katt Williams more than Mike Epps and whatnot, but they're all very funny. Don't get me wrong; these are all funny comedians. But Kevin Hart is just on another level in terms of the fucking money he's making. I mean, Netflix just paid him $40 million for 2 Netflix specials. Kevin Hart is always fucking working. Between him and The Rock, I don't know who works more. They're always on the go. They're always working. They always got some new projects going out. Those guys are incredible. So at the end of the day, yeah, Kevin Hart may not be as funny as he used to be. I remember when Kevin Hart was on the comedy circuit and he was doing some sitcoms as cameos and stuff like that. And I was rooting for him because I was like, I hope this guy really makes it big. And he was at a period where he was just on the brink, but he just didn't get the shot. Then all of a sudden, he just became big time. And he's kept it ever since because the guy fucking works hard. So Kevin Hart went at Katt Williams saying, hey, listen, man, you fucked up your career because you were fucking with the drugs. When Hollywood execs were trying to do movies with you and shit like that, you fucked yourself over with the drugs. So how are you coming at a girl like Tiffany who's just working hard? And, not only that, she's putting on other comedians, up-and-coming comedians, using her platform to get up-and-coming comedians their shine in the limelight. Katt Williams, what the fuck are you doing? It's a very interesting interview. Check it out. It's on YouTube. A lot of stuff that I say, I'm sure you can check it out on YouTube. Type the clip, Kevin Hart Breakfast Club. Find the longest clip you can find. I think it was like 45 minutes. Kevin Hart really went to bat for Tiffany Haddish, and I really enjoyed it because I'm so sick and fucking tired of people shitting on mainstream people that work very hard. It's not right. It's not right. Kevin Hart, I don't even think the guy fucking sleeps half the goddamn time. He busts his ass to sell out arenas to make the money he is, and then he has the Laugh Out Loud network in which he's using that platform to get up-and-coming comedians to get their shine on. So it annoys me when these comedians and like, yo, we got listen. I understand that a lot of us, we are in the middle class, and a lot of us think that only certain people get lucky to be rich and stuff like that. No, it takes a lot of hard work. It does take some luck, obviously, but we have to stop as a society hating on rich people that worked hard. And we saw the journey of how they were at the bottom and got to the top. We kind of have to stop the hate on that a little bit. We kind of have to stop that hate because Tiffany Haddish, she called, oh my God, this story from homeless to being in foster home. Oh my God, it's crazy. Check it out on The Breakfast Club. I love what Kevin Hart did. Pretty much defending Tiffany Haddish, who's an up-and-coming mainstream star. It was great stuff. But anyway, I just talked about not hating on people. But then I gotta bring up Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods is very interesting to me. He just got his first win, first time in 5 years. And I had an interesting debate with one of my brothers and then one of my coworkers. Because Tiger Woods, he got his first win really since shit hit the fan with the whole him cheating on his wife. And then, the back injury and stuff like that. And all this time, I'm like, why does Tiger never really get the hate? Now, yes, I just said that, rich, successful people who work hard shouldn't get the hate. But if you compare Tiger Woods to, say, other people that face scandal, Tiger Woods is kind of, going around scot-free. No one's really coming at Tiger. And if you compare Tiger Woods' dominance, because, he's changed the golf game. I think he's brought in a lot more casual fans to golf than ever before. And he's been very dominant. But it seems like the golf community really protects Tiger Woods. But if you compare that with the tennis community with Serena Williams, Serena does not get that much love. Yes, she's revered as probably one of the greatest tennis players of all time, men or women. Yet for some reason, the tennis community there's some people who still throw shots at her and all that stuff. Tiger Woods, he got caught with cheating. But for some reason, Tiger's scandal of cheating, it kind of, people just brushed it under the rug, but there's been other famous people who got in deep shit for cheating. So it was very interesting. It's kind of an interesting debate, something to think about. how is Tiger able to kind of get away with all this stuff? But yeah, he had a very great win the other day. He's doing pretty well. It'll be interesting to see if he catches up to the others. But I would like someone to kind of look into that and see why is Serena getting all the hate? She's been just as dominant. They kind of came up at the same time, Tiger and the Williams sisters. But yeah, Tiger is like an angel, and Serena gets hate. Anyway, what else we got into? What else we got to get into? Bill Cosby, damn, this guy. So he just got sentenced to 3 to 10 years in jail for this one of the sexual assaults that he did in 2004. 3 to 10 years. I mean, I think this guy is gonna die in jail, unfortunately. I don't know if he'll even, to be honest, I don't even know if he serves the whole sentence, just because he's rich, and we all know in this country, rich people sometimes get the leniency. But it's just a very sad story. Excuse me. It's a very sad story in general, just because I'm just very disappointed by Bill Cosby. I really am. I mean, I remember growing up, Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show was the shit. The Cosby Show was the shit. And I remember, for a lot of people, especially in the Black community, I mean, to really see an affluent doctor, a lawyer, living in New York suburbs, it was almost unheard of. And it was very inspirational to see a family of success, to see a family that valued education and was just doing very well in life, and kind of showing like, hey, you don't need to be an actor or in entertainment or in sports to succeed and have a good life. You can, do your education. You can value your education. Your education can take you far, at least back in the day. I mean, it still does to this day, but, as I talked about in my last episode with student loan debt, that's making it a lot tougher for people to go to school for their education. So listen to last week's episode on that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just very disappointed on Bill Cosby, and I feel bad for the woman who had been assaulted back in the day. So yeah, he's serving the 3 to 10 years. I guess we'll have to see what happens with that guy. I don't know. I don't think good things are gonna happen once he's in the jail cell, but we'll have to see. Anyway, did anyone see Mark Cuban the other day? He was on The Jump. The Jump is an ESPN show for basketball. So like for those who watch NFL Live on ESPN, The Jump is the NBA version. And Mark Cuban, he's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He's also on Shark Tank. Very charismatic guy, very charming guy, actually smart. I know he actually is not the biggest fan of President Trump, and actually one time teased running against him. Well, he should spend more time checking out his own company and his own backyard instead of criticizing others. Because for those who don't know, the Dallas Mavericks had a huge scandal with one of its execs. And one of the execs, it goes by the name of Tarima Usurai. He was, I think, second in command to Dallas Mavericks. So when Mark Cuban was going around traveling, doing business deals, doing Shark Tank and all that stuff, Usurai was the guy running the Mavericks, the day-to-day. And there was a news report that broke out, I would say a couple months ago, that is now resurfacing again lately, especially with the Me Too movement. You got Mark Cuban, who's kind of, has this guy Usurai, who's known as a serial sexual harasser. So he's going around the office, hitting on the young women, sexually harassing them, terrorized numerous female employees for over a decade, had so much power over these employees that he could do whatever he want. He actually had 2 domestic violence incidents with female employees after hours. I'm going to say it again. 2 domestic incidents. One being an assault on a coworker. And, this was reported to the head of HR, the senior vice president of HR, who failed to report the woman's reports to the abuse and harassment. It was just a shit show in the Mavericks allegation. It was just a shit show. And so Mark Cuban, being the charming guy that he is and all that stuff, everyone likes Mark Cuban. He actually went on the jump to the NBA to jump. And you got to check this out on YouTube. Rachel Nichols is a phenomenal sports reporter. She kind of bounced around from network to network, but now she has found a home as the NBA lead reporter, one of the lead reporters for ESPN. She has a show that expanded from a half hour to an hour, probably due to the NBA's popularity, but also she's just so good. She has a really good relationship with Beyonce, with LeBron James. Whenever LeBron James does a one-on-one interview, Rachel Nichols is the one he calls on. So she's pretty powerful. She has pretty powerful connections. And Rachel Nichols so she had Mark Cuban on the show. And Mark Cuban was kind of trying to talk his way out of it. Like you hear a lot of these CEOs and people on scandals trying to talk their way out of it, saying, I didn't know, I apologize, I'm sorry. And Rachel Nichols put that guy over a fucking fryer and fried him. She asked the tough questions. She grilled Mark Cuban so bad that Mark Cuban ended up crying. That's right. Mark Cuban ended up crying because he really had an answer for the fact that he had this exec that was running his company, terrorizing a bunch of people. And Mark Cuban knew about it. I'm sure he knew about it. There's no way he could have known about it because he's on Shark Tank criticizing people, talking about their businesses, saying, how do you not know this and how do you not know that? And being very detail-oriented, but then to deny that this is not, you don't know about this in the Dallas Mavericks organization? Come on. Unacceptable. And they never they didn't fire the guy until the story broke out. And the sad part, come on, HR people, come on, man. I know they're in tough positions sometimes if it regards a higher person of power, but you gotta report this shit. Because for me, I never really understood why, and it still happens to this day. Corporations and universities, whenever a scandal happens, the first answer they want to do is they want to just try to sweep it under the rug and just try to find the quickest way to get rid of it and not really address the issue at hand. And then what happens is that issue at hand that swept them under the fucking rug just resurfaces 10 times worse, and then you have a bigger scandal. Look what happened with Michigan State with that fucking piece of shit doctor who molested all those young Olympian women. People knew about that shit at Michigan State. They didn't do anything. Kept that shit under the rug. And now look what happened. And that's just one fucking example. Jerry Sandusky at Penn State. The horrific shit that he did to those little kids. Those little boys. People knew about it. Swept it under the rug until recently. I don't know why people are so scared to just address a scandal, to address something, and get that person the fuck out of there. You're better off saying, listen, we found out about this shit. We got rid of this motherfucker. He or she is no longer with our company, and we're moving on. You're better off just saying and addressing it as opposed to sweeping it under the rug, because then that makes you compliant. And then when this scandal comes out, people don't want to fuck with you no more. It's a shame. And Mark Cuban deserved every fucking harsh question and answer response that Rachel Nichols did on that interview. Check that interview out. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting. That shit got me fired up, man. I was very disappointed in Mark Cuban, man. Very disappointed that he let this shit happen in his own backyard and that he didn't get rid of this guy. Because now it sullies his reputation as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And I actually like Mark Cuban, but you gotta get rid of dumbasses like that. You gotta get rid of that shit. Anyway, what else is going on? Yo, let's talk about the NFL real quick. Let's talk about the NFL. We got a few things we gotta talk about. First, NFL Hall of Famers are fighting for health insurance. So they see what's going on with baseball, other sports, and these NFL players, ex-players are like, wait a goddamn minute. We play one of the most dangerous games in the country. We come out, we have concussions, we have broken limbs, broken bones, and yet we're struggling to get health insurance. Meanwhile, the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell, who's one of the who I think is the worst commissioner of the Big Four sports, gets $40 million a year. 40 fucking million a year to just do fucking nothing and have the NFL just go through crisis after crisis after crisis and just bundle the fucking crisis and make it worse. So these Hall of Famers are like, listen, man, we need some health insurance. We need lifetime health insurance. I think that's justified. I think that's more than justified, especially for the NFL. The NFL is making tons of money. They can pay for ex-NFL players to get the health insurance. So there's a group of Hall of Famers led by, I think, Eric Dickerson, who's come out and said, we're going to boycott next year's Hall of Fame. We're not going to show up to the ceremony unless you guys pony up some cash and start a fund to help ex-players like not only myself, but others who are not in the Hall of Fame get some money for health insurance to pay their health bills. And I think it's very justified. Now, they also talked about a pension for life as well. I think Major League Baseball does that to a degree. I think that's another battle that the NFL players are going to have to fight. But I think health insurance is the first thing. Health insurance for life is the first thing that the NFL should tackle. And if people don't think that the NFL should not pay health insurance, let me tell you about this documentary that just came out, 30 for 30. Okay, I didn't watch it yet, but I plan on watching it this weekend. How many people remember Junior Seau? This guy is probably one of the best linebackers to ever play in NFL history. He played for a lot of years with the Chargers. Then he had a stint with the Patriots. He had a severe case of CTE, a concussion-based injury, and it was so bad that his body deteriorated. His mind just deteriorated. Watch the documentary. It's so fucking sad. It leaves you crying. He's just sitting in his chair with the TV off, just staring at it. And his family will come around and they'll be like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And they'll ask him. But at the time, CTE and concussions weren't that big of a deal. Because I think he passed away, I think a decade ago, actually. And his mind just deteriorated. It just deteriorated over time to the point where it was just no good. And the guy committed suicide by shooting himself. He donated his brain to science, but the guy shot himself. And he's not the only NFL player who's committed suicide due to a concussion-based injury, due to not knowing or not getting the proper help that he needs post-NFL life. These players really need the help. And for the NFL, who's making tons of fucking money off of these players, the least they can do is give these players some health insurance so that they can see great doctors and get the help that they need for sacrificing their body to the game. While the owners are making tons and tons of money, yes, these players get some millions of dollars, but these owners are getting billions of dollars. And they don't have to sacrifice their body for it. So the least they can do is get the health insurance. The Junior Seau's documentary is very sad. My brother told me about it, and it was just sad even hearing him tell me the story about it. Check it out on ESPN. Let me know your thoughts on it. I'm gonna check it out this weekend. But I heard his story, and his family was just beside himself because they didn't know why this guy committed suicide, which is the case for a lot of unfortunate suicides. But the fact that in his dying days, his family was almost pissed at him because they didn't recognize who he was anymore. This guy's brain was just deteriorating over time because of CTE, because of football-related injuries. And to be honest, I mean, the big question I got to bring up is, will the NFL survive in 20 years? I mean, let's look at the state of the NFL right now. You got a lot of crises happening, but one of the reasons why the ratings are so down is because of this roughing the passer rule that's happening. One of the linebackers from Green Bay, Clay Matthews, has had 3 15-yard penalties for roughing the passer. Fans are getting pissed because you're seeing these defensive players get penalized for doing football-based tackles. Stuff that we've been taught since high school and college and even Pop Warner. And they're getting penalized for it. So it's taking the physicality out the game. And it's almost like you might as well make it flag football. I'm telling you right now, I think Roger Goodell is not the commissioner to lead the NFL into this next transition. I think the NFL is in a scary state right now. They're in a scary ground right now. They can either go up or they can go down, severely down. And what I mean is the NFL really has to address keeping the core of the game, keeping the game the way it is while still protecting the players. And it's tough. How do you do that? How do you keep the game still fun and entertaining, but not soft? But in a way it doesn't injure your players long term. It's tough. And I don't think Roger Goodell is the commissioner to get the job done. I really don't think he's the commissioner to get the job done. So I don't know. You have a lot of people. I have a lot of conversations with people, even former ex-football players that I know who are saying, "Yo, I'm not having my son play football. I'm not having him play football. Nope, it's not worth the risk." And the more and more people that transition, I don't know if you're going to have football in 20 years. It might either have to turn to rugby or some form of flag football, honestly. I think that's a good call. I think that's something for people to ponder. I know I'm a football fan. Recently, I've actually shifted my sports allegiances to more basketball and soccer. I'm finding that a little bit more entertaining because the NFL is doing a lot of bullshit. But it's scary. It's scary right now what's happening to the state of football and how do they change it. And when you have bonehead coaches coming out saying that, kids are just soft and it's changing the fabric of America, that people are scared to play football. No, you fucking idiot. No one wants to fucking get CTE and blow their brains out like other ex-football players have done. And if you notice, there's more NFL players who are actually retiring early. It used to be players who were retired at like 37, 38. Now they're retiring before the age of 30, 25. Because they're like, listen, I got my money, I'm getting out. I don't want to have a serious injury no more. The NFL has to address this stuff. I don't know what they do. I really don't know what you do. How do you protect the game and protect the players? So, I don't know. Anyway, let's get some NFL news out the way for those who are paying attention. Le'Veon Bell is on the move. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to trade him. Robert Gronkowski from the Patriots, he actually almost got traded to the Lions, but he actually was going to retire. So he threatened the Patriots and said, hey, you know what? If you guys try to trade me, I'm retiring. I'm not going to the fucking Lions. I'm only playing with Tom Brady. I don't blame Gronk for that. I don't blame him for that. Anyway, what I want to get into is this NFL halftime show. So right now you got Maroon 5. They're the headliner. They got Cardi B and Travis Scott. Man. Maroon 5, now they are a big-time pop band. I think, they still manage to keep being relevant. I think they're guys who just kind of follow the trend. But, hey, they're still getting the money. Cardi B, they got the Girls Like You song that they got. Travis Scott, I don't know how Travis Scott fits into all that, but he's hot right now. His album beat Nicki Minaj's album recently. But NFL halftime shows, fuck, man. It used to be so fucking good. I remember, I think it was the year 2000. It was Aerosmith, Mary J. Blige, and NSYNC. And I think that was like the last great halftime show where people tuned in to watch the halftime show, where people are like, yo, I got to see this. Just as much as the game. Now it's kind of lame. The NFL is playing it safe. I think they overreacted with the Janet Jackson nipple slip, and especially compared to how things are now, I mean that would be nothing. I think they really overreacted with Janet Jackson's nipple slip. I think Justin Timberlake was an asshole for leaving Janet Jackson out to dry for that. I think it was bullshit. Justin Timberlake should have came to Janet Jackson's defense and said it was a wardrobe malfunction. Let's move on from this. This is not a big deal. Ever since then, the NFL has trying to be safe, with safe acts, people who are not going to generate controversy. But now they notice that people are just not fucking with the halftime show, so they're trying to be relevant. Obviously, Cardi B and Travis Scott are two of the hottest rappers out right now. Cardi B for the females has the game on lock right now. I know they tried to offer the Super Bowl halftime show to Jay-Z, but he declined it. I don't see Jay-Z or Beyonce doing the halftime show again because they side with Kaepernick, and they are free to do so. And plus, I think with Jay-Z, let's be honest, Jay-Z, the money that he's making right now, an NFL check, ironically, is probably not big enough for him. It's probably not good enough for him. So he declined that. But it got me thinking. This show's in Atlanta. Maroon 5, Cardi B, and Travis Scott. Atlanta, a hotbed of good music. No Outkast. No TIP. No Usher. What the fuck is that? What the hell is going on? And I understand that, the NFL, the base is more, country. You have a lot of Southern fans. You have a lot of Midwestern fans. It's not like the NBA where it's more ingrained with hip hop. I understand that. But you're doing it in the ATL. Why not get some ATL acts on there? Katy Perry a few years ago had Missy Elliott on there for a little bit. You should have had Outkast or TIP or even Usher. Usher's still a name that people know of. Usher is still a big time star. He hasn't made music lately, but still. But I was talking about it with my brother, and it's like the NFL, I think, really has to start finding new acts, like brand new acts to do these shows, because I think you can't keep running to the Jay-Z, the Beyoncés, the Bruno Mars, the Justin Timberlakes to do these shows anymore. There's a new crop of stars out there. You need to start going to them, because eventually people are going to get kind of sick of the Beyoncés and Bruno Mars. I know it's crazy that I said it, but eventually you get tired of seeing the same old stuff. You do need some new acts. For one of my suggestions, here are some of my suggestions for who they should do future halftime shows with. They should do a Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande halftime show. They've done a lot of records together. I think Nicki Minaj, instead of bickering back and forth for Cardi B, she should show why she's the top lady. Do a halftime show with Ariana Grande, who's a huge star right now. You got Justin Bieber out there. Maybe do something with him. Maybe have Justin Bieber on there. Maybe have Shawn Mendes out there. He has some hits right now. If they can get Drake, why not get fucking Drake? And if they're crazy enough, maybe you get Kanye. I don't know if you want to get Kanye because Kanye is crazy, but, Kanye has done a few episodes on SNL and all that stuff, so, it may not be too bad. But I think we just need to switch it up a little bit. I don't know. Maroon 5 doesn't excite me, and I really feel that they got Cardi B and Travis Scott to get a lot of the hip-hop community, because, to be honest, Maroon 5 is kind of bland. Yes, they do the pop songs, but we know Maroon 5's act. We've seen that before. We've seen all of that before. So I think the NFL, they gotta open up their halftime show again, get some new acts, get some new stars over there. Let me go over some little tidbits real quick. We're almost getting to the end of the show. Cardi B is the first female rapper to have 3 number ones in the Billboard 100. I don't know what the fuck that really means, but I thought it was a good tidbit to know. I think Cardi B is on fire right now, but the feud between her and Nicki Minaj, it kind of needs to end. Kind of like that MGK Eminem feud. That one's over. Eminem buried MGK. MGK came. He can't feud with Eminem no more. Actually, MGK just recently came out with an album. It didn't do so well. I think Cardi and Nicki B need to embrace each other. But to be honest, during this beef, Nicki Minaj is talking about how she's the best female rapper of all time and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, who would be awesome to come back and just shut Nicki Minaj's ass up? Lauryn Hill, the queen, Lauryn Hill. I mean, I miss that lady. That album she did, and her music, her talent, Lauryn Hill, she could spit bars. She could spit fire, but she hasn't come out with some new music. I want Lauryn Hill to make some new music. I think she needs to reappear back on this scene. I think a lot of people have a lot of love for Lauryn Hill, and they would love for her to do one more album, because to me, she is the best female rapper of all time, in my opinion. That's just my take. Lauryn Hill is the best female rapper of all time. Yes, the numbers may not compare, because Nicki Minaj always like to talk numbers. I don't think she can beat Lauryn Hill. I don't think she can beat Lauryn Hill. I mean, Lauryn Hill. Let me just look up something real quick with Lauryn Hill. Bear with me real quick, people. I'm sorry for the pause over there. I mean, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is a classic album. It's a classic album. And I would love for Lauryn Hill to come back and show all these girls this is the queen. Yes, you girls are doing your thing, and we want to support you and all that stuff, but if you really gonna try to be the top billing, this is how you do it. Lauryn Hill, she needs to come back. We need to start a trend of getting Lauryn Hill to come back. I know she still does performances, actually. She still does performances. The last time I saw her, she did a performance, I don't know if it was at the Apollo, but she did like a remix to the Drake Nice for What. And for those who don't know, the Nice for What was sampled off from Lauryn Hill. So Lauryn Hill did a remix on the remix. It was fantastic. She just has an energy when she's performing. Actually, today, someone posted on Twitter when the Fugees first came out and they were performing, and the crowd was kind of dead. And then Wyclef stopped in the middle. He was like, "Yo, what the hell's going on? Why is this crowd so dead?" And I know a lot of people at the time were not feeling Lauryn Hill as a female rapper. Because female rap, it was tough back in the 90s. I mean, the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So anyway, Wyclef Jean stops it, has Lauryn does her rap, and Lauryn just gets the crowd fucking bumping. I think she's just phenomenal. But sometimes the problem is when you're gone for so long, people kind of just forget about you. I think Alicia Keys is another woman where I thought she could have had a career. I thought she could have, honestly, and this is my take, the way she started out, she could have possibly rivaled Beyonce for a short period of time, to be honest. But Alicia Keys, she kind of went out the limelight. That's another issue with Eminem. Eminem, he kind of comes in and out, but sometimes the gap is so long that, people tend to forget. I mean, especially in this game with the streaming music and all that stuff, you have to stay relevant. You now have artists who are dropping a song almost every month just to somehow be relevant. For people like Drake to stay red hot ever since he came out, and I think, what was it? I would say 2008 to now, the past decade, it's tough to do. It's very tough to do. But that's just the music industry right now. Everyone's on the streaming, the Apple Music, the Spotify. You got to keep content out there. You got to keep the content out there. But, Lauryn Hill, please come back. I would love for you to come back. Anyway, Lil Wayne album. Supposedly Lil Wayne's coming out this Friday with the Carter 5. He pulled some bullshit last weekend saying that he was going to drop the album last weekend. Everyone was waiting for it. It didn't come out. So he's saying this Friday on his birthday, he's coming out with the Carter 5. Let's see. I think this is a big album for Wayne. I think Lil Wayne needs this to be a big comeback album. And I'm not saying that comeback in the terms of like Lil Wayne is not good, but Lil Wayne, we have not heard from Lil Wayne in a long time. We just have not heard of Lil Wayne in a long time. And I'd be interested to see what he raps about. I think, you got certain artists like, Jay-Z, like Eminem, where they get so rich and they're such big moguls that when they come out with another album, it's like, what new shit are you bringing to the table? Because you kind of talked about everything. And Lil Wayne, I mean, he's getting money off of Drake and Nicki Minaj and Tyga. Hopefully he is. I know he had some issues with Birdman before in that lawsuit, but it seems like that thing is all squashed. But with Lil Wayne, he did the formula for doing features. I mean, Lil Wayne recorded a lot of songs, and that years, I would say the years of maybe 06 to maybe 2012, Lil Wayne was everywhere. He was on almost every song. He was featured on every song. he was big. I remember when I was in college, Lil Wayne was the hottest thing out there. People would stop what they're doing for a new Lil Wayne album. There's people who proclaim Lil Wayne is the greatest rapper alive. He'll never be stopped. Now we come to 2018, we don't hear much from Lil Wayne anymore. Even though I think he did teach Drake the formula of how to stay relevant and hot for a long time. Because if you notice, Drake is on a lot of features as well. Sometimes these artists, if you notice, if they're not dropping albums, they're always on other people's songs doing features to stay relevant, to have their name out there. That's how they keep staying hot. I think Lil Wayne taught Drake that. I think Nicki Minaj needs to do that some more instead of bickering with Cardi B over the top spot. But anyway, I'm very interested to see what happens with the Carter 5. Kanye supposedly is coming out with some new albums. End of 2018, we'll see. I hope. I don't know what album I'm getting with Kanye. Some people view him as a musical genius. I still miss the college dropout Kanye. I remember I saw him in North Carolina. I was in high school, a senior in high school on a trip. We went to Duke University, and it was John Legend was one of the openers before John Legend got hot. And I remember Kanye came out. He did his thing. Kanye was just a breath of fresh air in the rap scene. He was something new, something different. He wasn't a hood guy. He wasn't a street guy. He was a suburban guy. He kind of just did his thing, and people just loved Kanye. But now Kanye's talking about that he's Jesus, that he's God, that he's this and that. I would love for him to just do a college dropout type album. I know there's rumors that he's doing an album with Chance the Rapper. I think Chance the Rapper is great. He reminds me of Kanye. I think Chance the Rapper is kind of like the new Kanye in terms of the way he's rapping and kind of the energy that you get from him. I thought The Coloring Book was a very, very great album. It was a very great album. I really like Chance the Rapper. I like that he's teaming up with Kanye. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that college dropout flavor. That would be awesome. All right, two more things I just want to get off my chest real quick. So New York, this is important. New York schools are going to do mandatory mental health classes. Kindergarten through 12th grade, it's going to be about mental health awareness. It's going to be teaching kids how to check for mental health amongst their classmates, how to reach out for help, how to better deal with mental health if they are going through the issues. I think that's a great start. I hope the rest of the country follows suit, because I'm glad that mental health is finally getting the love that it deserves, because I think for the longest time people have been pushing it to the back burner. And I never understood in this society, I think the brain is the most powerful organ of the human body. But yet, if we have an injury to any other part of our body, we treat it. No questions asked. But for some reason, if something's wrong with our brain, people stigmatized it. But it's the most powerful organ of our body. It never made sense to me. It never made sense to me in sports where like people will get concussions. Oh, you're okay. It's just your head. Maybe because it's not visual. You don't see a brain bleeding. You don't see a brain knocked around. You don't see a brain suffering headaches and all that stuff, as opposed to if your leg is just falling off the bone. Maybe that's the reason why. Or you don't see someone's, chemical imbalance be off. But it's still effective. Your brain affects your whole body. So I'm glad that as a society, we're finally getting to the forefront. I think it's unfortunate that we had to lose some people along the way, some great people that I think we could have been saved if we actually just reached out and tried to help them out and try to get them the help that they need. But, sometimes, unfortunately, these things happen. But I'm glad that New York is doing that. I hope it follows suit all around the country. Mental health classes, financial education classes too. I talked about financial education a lot last episode. We need that badly. And how the government works. There's too many fucking people out there who just don't know how the government works. They don't pay attention to local government. They think the president can fix everything under the sun. They don't know how much bureaucracy and politics and all this stuff is involved. They need education on that too. Make it, And anyway, one more last tidbit I want to get out there, because this is important too. Instagram founders left Facebook. They are no longer a part of Facebook. So for those people who are on the gram like me, this is a little bit of concern, because whenever you have the original founders of a business, lead the business, it's troublesome because you don't know where the direction of that company is going to go. I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, Apple right now, a lot of people have said Apple has not been the same since Steve Jobs is no longer a part of it. And this is not the only company that suffers. A lot of companies suffer when the original owners are not there. So we'll see what happens with Instagram. I love Instagram. I used Instagram probably more than Facebook and Snapchat, to be honest. I think Snapchat is more for the people in high school and middle school. Facebook, I feel it used to be very great. I remember when Facebook first came out in 2006, you had to get like a college email address to sign on. So it's kind of like exclusive. It was kind of like, oh my God, like you made it at college and now you're on Facebook. It's a pretty cool thing. But obviously Facebook, they opened it up to the public. And that wasn't a bad thing. I think it took a turn for the worse with this recent election. You had way too much bad politics on both sides on it. And then not only that, but you have the bad politics. You have all these family baby pictures, all that stuff. I don't know. I think Facebook has kind of taken a turn for the worse, in my opinion. I think Facebook trying to be like the next Google is also hindering the company and not making it as high as it used to be. So you got Instagram, which is just very photo based. I think for a lot of people, they can check out, they can just see their friends' photos. I know for a lot of girls, they get to check out the guys on Facebook. For a lot of guys, they get to check out the girls on Facebook, on Instagram. Sorry, on Instagram, not Facebook. So it's kind of like the new thing right now. It's kind of hip. It's happening. I think it's a little bit more exclusive in terms of who you can follow and who you can allow to follow you. It's a little bit more private, a little bit more controlled. I kind of like that aspect a lot. My Instagram, I tend to do, some selfies and, posting the show and all that stuff. But I like Instagram, but I'm a little worried what Facebook is going to do with Instagram. I know it tried to buy, in the past, it tried to buy Snapchat. And I'm wondering how Snapchat owners feel about knowing that the Instagram people have left Facebook. Because I think if you read in between the lines, the founders of Instagram didn't like working with Zuckerberg. I'm sure they might regret kind of letting go of Instagram and giving it to Facebook. But let's be honest. I mean, it really popped off once Facebook took over Instagram. With the Instagram stories and all that stuff, Instagram really popped off due to Facebook. So anyway, that's a tidbit, something that I thought people should know. That covers all the topics we have at hand. I was going to talk about the NBA, some stars acting like number twos, but I'll save that for another episode because there's going to be so much NBA stuff that's happening. Anyway, this is another episode of the Just My Take podcast. We're almost at an hour. I can't believe it. Recently, my episodes have been going almost an hour. Again, thank you for the support. Do me a favor, people. Subscribe. Like the show. Follow the show page. Tell a friend about the show. Tell a friend. Let them listen to it. Let them know. Come back to me. Give the feedback. Let's grow this show together. Let's make it a really fun show. Okay? I appreciate the support, and this is a hobby for me, but I really enjoy the ones who get to talk to people and get to meet different people who are listening to my show and really enjoying it. I'm glad to be doing it. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Really, Instagram. If you're going to really find me, get me on Instagram, DexPC5, and then follow the show at the Just My Take podcast, because that's where you can get more of the exclusive stuff on the show. Instagram is where I'm really heavy on. So start with that first. All these shows are available on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Only platform is not YouTube. I started with YouTube, but I slowed down a little bit. But if you guys want me on YouTube, I'll do it. But I need the fan base to grow a little bit. But it will over time. Hey, you guys have a great week. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there. I'll be coming back with another episode next week. And hey, everyone, just remember, we talked about a lot of shit tonight. Just remember, whether you agree or disagree, it's just my take. Peace.